Before we get started on this oil change, I want to go over a few things that you're going to want, starting with ramps or jack stands. So you'll want a ramp. You basically just want the car up off the ground. Next, you're going to want oil, and this car takes 5W20 and it takes 4.5 quarts. The oil filter for this car in the Fram is the 3614, and the first two letters coincide with whatever line they're selling. So Fram drive, you got FD 3614, and you're going to want a drain pan and a funnel to get the oil back in. I have a 3/8 ratchet and a T30 Torx, and this will be to get the main belly cover off underneath the car. And then we have a 15mm 3/8 drive socket, and this is for taking the drain plug out of the oil pan. Alright, so with all that said, we're going to jump underneath. We're going to remove the belly pan, and then we'll get into draining the oil. So here we are under the car. You can see these Torx bolts, they hold up this cover. We'll call it a skid plate, but it doesn't have any structural protection. I'm going to take, there's 3 across the back in the very back here, and there's 3 across the front. So I'm going to go ahead and take those out. So now that we have this out of the way, we can start draining the oil, and that'll be the 15mm I mentioned earlier. I'm going to see if I can do this without getting oil everywhere. One trick to removing these is to, as you're turning it, put pressure toward the oil pan, and as you're doing that, once you get to the last thread, it's still going to let some oil out, but then you pull it up and out of the way and out of the stream of oil. So we'll see if we can do it this time. I don't know ways to get it. So just real quick, you can see I'm pretty clean. I love it when it works out like that. So we're going to let this drain, and then we'll put the, dang it, I always do this. I forgot to take this out, so I still got dirty. Dang it. That happens more often than I'd like to admit. See how it's kind of gurgling like that? I'm going to go up and take the cap off and see if it smooths out. Okay, so I'm going to shut the camera off. I'm going to let this finish draining, and then we'll be right back. Alright, so it's dripped for a little while. I'm happy with where we're at. A person could let a car sit overnight draining to try and get as much as possible out, but this is fine with us. Put the drain plug back in. So one thing I want to say here is, before you tighten this, just remember you don't have to put it on super tight. I will get the torque specs and I will torque this. Normally it's in the range of 20 to 25 foot-pounds. Alright, we got our cheap Harbor Freight click style torque wrench. It is set to 21 foot-pounds. If you have an oil change that you're doing on a different vehicle, or even this vehicle, you can go to amsoil.com and put in your vehicle, and it'll tell you the oil capacity, the oil type, and they'll give you the torque value for your drain plug. It's pretty handy. Alright, that was it. You heard the click. That's when we stopped. So now we're moving on to the oil filter. Alright, as you can see, I've got gloves on again. The one trick I do have for this, I don't have the material to do it, which is just a red Solo cup or any cup that'll fit the diameter of this, where you can pinch it and turn it. So because I don't have that and I can't show you, we're just going to go ahead and get started here. I'm just going to twist this till it starts to drip, and then I'm going to let it drip for a bit. And then once that settles down, we'll get it all the way off there and we'll get the new filter on. So this thing's going to be full of oil, so when it lets go, we're going to try and hold it. And you can see there's still some in there. Okay, we're going to let that drip for a minute. While we do, we're going to go to the top and we're going to prepare the other oil filter, the new one, to go on here. Here we are back on top. We're going to open up our new oil filter. Set it right here. We're going to open the new oil. And what I'm going to do is dip my finger in the oil and I'm going to rub it around this O-ring. You've seen how easy it was to get that old one out, and that's partially due to the fact that it was not over tightened, and I had also pre-lubed the ring, and this just helps keep the ring from bonding to the engine block. At this point we can go down, we can install the new oil filter and top off the oil. Alright, once the dripping has pretty much subsided, I like to clean the mating surface. And by clean, I just mean wipe off the oil. And now, alright, and so that's all the tighter we need to get that. It doesn't have to be super tight. Again, you could see how easily I was able to remove the old one and it wasn't leaking. Now we can go back to the top and get the oil back in here. I'm going to put the underbelly back on a little bit later. That won't be in this video, but you can watch the beginning of the video when I took it out in reverse. Time to take the oil fill cap off. Before we're done, we're going to clean up this O-ring, make sure it's good and lubed so it doesn't get dried in there. We need to put 4.5 quarts of oil in. We have a 5-quart jug. I'll go ahead and get the car down off the ramps and then we will check the oil once we're on level ground. So clean this up a little bit. I'm going to take a little of this residual oil, get it on my finger. I just think that helps keep the O-ring from drying and getting hard to remove. So here you can see we're right at the full line. We're in good shape here. We just changed the oil on this 2012 Ford Focus. I'm going to show you how to use the D7 from X tool to reset the warning or the reminder. Okay, we're going to go to special function and we have oil reset. we're going to select Americas, Ford USA. Let's do automatic detection. It's got our car. System selection. Oil 0 manually, so maybe this is just going to tell us this operation guide is for reference only. If you cannot manually reset it, please refer to the relevant maintenance manual. Okay, so this is not going to reset it for us, but it's going to tell us how to do it. Turn the key to the on position without starting the engine. Step on the accelerator and brake pedal at the same time. Keep both pedals fully depressed. After 3 seconds, the service displays oil reset complete. Release the accelerator and brake. Service display oil reset is complete. Maintenance information will no longer be displayed. Okay, so let's give that a shot. I'm going to turn the key off. I'm going to turn the key on. We got the brake and accelerator. Service oil reset in progress. Alright, so that's all there is to it. That does it for this oil change. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. You might want to check out that amsoil.com website to try to get oil capacities and types, as well as the drain plug torque values, which I find to be pretty important. You know, there's been cars that I've gotten to the drain plug and they're just so tight that you end up stripping them trying to get them off. If you have any questions, put those in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and hopefully I'll see you on another video.